Transcendental meditation. This is one of the first types of meditation I learned at the age of 26 when I was extremely stressed. And a lot of people come to meditation because of stress, and of course it will reduce your stress levels. So it's really different from mantra repetition, or what we would call japa meditation, in the fact that the sound is really not a word, it's just a sound. And it doesn't have any particular meaning assigned to it. So it's different in that respect. The sounds that we used are what we call bij mantras. Bij means seed. And these are kind of the old, ancient mantras. Om is probably the most recognizable. Om is the sound of creation, if you like. So mantra repetition or japa meditation, you know, you could have a whole sentence. It may be in Sanskrit, it may be in English, but they would have a meaning assigned to it, whereas transcendental, using the bij mantra or the seed sounds of the universe, that's the main difference. It was really introduced to the West by the Beatles, where they learned transcendental meditation from Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. Nowadays, if you embark upon the journey of transcendental meditation, you are initiated. It's like a small ceremony where you're given one of the bij seed mantras by the guru, who will choose one personally for you. So basic practice is to sit twice a day, once in the morning and once in the evening, for 20 minutes. So sitting upright, eyes are closed, straight spine, and you just mentally repeat the bij mantra, the seed sound, over and over in your head for 20 minutes. And what will generally happen, let's take the mantra Om. What you'll notice as you're mentally repeating the mantra is that it might change length. Sometimes you might repeat it, it might be very short in length. Other times it might be an extended length. It might change in pitch or tone, so it might go a pitch higher, Om, and then Om a little bit lower. So it may change slightly with the constant repetition, and that's fine. And what you'll find is, initially, when you sit to meditate, there'll be so many thoughts that go around in your head. So as soon as you start mentally repeating your mantra in your head, a thought will come in to interrupt that mental repetition. And that thought might be, I've got to ring Paula, for example. And thoughts will come and go, but what you're trying to treat those thoughts as a passing cloud, so that you're not really resisting them, because that will take mental effort, and we don't want to concentrate too hard. So the more you resist a thought, the more it kind of comes back at you. So we say treating thoughts like passing clouds. So allow them to come, but allow them to go as well. So when you have a thought, I've got to ring Jackie, you can't multitask thoughts. So you'd have had to have lost the original mantra thought in your head to think, I've got to ring Paula, or whoever it is that you're going to ring. And then, then you'll realize at some point that you've become lost in thought, and then your mind pulls you back to the mantra. And this is kind of an ongoing fluctuation between reciting the mantra, having a thought, repeating the mantra again. And you might then think, I've got to buy some rice or some tomatoes for dinner this evening. And then you may get lost in a whole trail of thought and do a whole shopping list in your head before you kind of come to and think, oh, I've got to repeat the mantra again. So this kind of tussle between passing thoughts and repetition of the mantra will occur, particularly at the very start when our mind is busy. And they say our mind, is like one of those snow globes. You shake it up, all the snow scatters, a bit representing our thoughts. And the more you sit and repeat the mantra, it's like those thoughts subside. Why is it called Transcendental Meditation? Because, if you're lucky, at some point you will transcend all thought. So instead of fluctuating between repetition of mantra and passing thoughts, as the mind begins to quiet, the thoughts subside. So we lose any thought, but we also begin to lose the mantra. We've transcended both thought and the mantra. So your mind is completely empty. And it almost feels like you've been asleep, because it's a bit like you kind of go, ooh, you come to, and that moment is the waking up of the thinking mind, where another thought comes in to interrupt that inner silence. And it's not necessarily that we've gone to sleep, it's just the complete stillness of the mind, which transcended the thoughts, is now being interrupted by a thought coming in. And of course, sometimes people can actually fall asleep. But the goal is to transcend all thoughts, that we can really still the mind and really benefit from that practice. So it was described to me when I learned as, imagine you have a cup which you fill with tea or coffee or whatever. But you imagine instead of filling it with hot tea, you fill it with stress. Okay? So normally, when we're about to get stressed, we don't often realize all of those physiological processes that go in or building up in the background. And sometimes we don't even know that we're stressed until our cup is now overflowing. And when the cup overflows, we get the symptoms of stress. So that might be fast heart rate. It could be, a rash on the face. For females, it could be that the periods stop. They're all kind of symptoms of severe stress. Panic attacks, for example. So when I was particularly stressed years ago, and again, this is how I came to Transcendental Meditation, I had all of those symptoms. I'd be sitting on the tube in London, and it was like almost like a cartoon heart pumping out of the chest, severe fast heart rate. I did have a rash all over my face, and my periods did stop. So I've been through all of that, and it wasn't a nice place. And I remember coming in one day on a Friday. It was just real overwork, and I kind of fell to my knees, and I just cried and cried and cried. And of course I went to the doctor, and he prescribed some beta blockers, which was to, slow down the heart rate. So something like treating the symptoms rather than the cause, which was, overwork. So I wanted an alternative approach, and that's how I came to meditation. So really, there are all kind of experiences when you have transcended thought. You might feel that you've been asleep. You might not feel your hands. You might not feel your legs. And it's really equivalent often of 4 hours of deep, nourishing sleep to be in that kind of transcended state. So you might feel exhausted afterwards. I remember my first weekend of initiation. I think it was 4 days, the course. I felt I was just wiped out. And of course, it's what my body needed, because I was so busy and so tired that it just floored me. And of course, that was a powerful effect. But after that, obviously, the more practice I did, the better I felt. So that's really the gist of transcendental meditation. Transcending all thought by the repetition of a particular bij or seed mantra, that sound, and just kind of letting go of all thoughts, transcending and then basking in the peace. Trying not, of course, to fall asleep. Sleeping is for afterwards. So as soon as you finish the 20 minutes, you can set on the timer. Some people set timers, some people don't. Then is the time to really just lie down and just kind of bask in that mind that is nice and relaxed. And if you fall asleep then that's great. You obviously needed it. But that is really the essence of the practice of transcendental meditation. Twice a day, 20 minutes each time.